Good morning.
Morning.
How are you all? Let us know. Gotta make her laugh. Welcome to. They might do. I'm alright actually.
Yeah,
Might comment whilst the video's going off in the background. We are today in Ankerwycke in Surrey, near, as you can probably hear behind us, Heathrow. It's beautiful round here. Absolutely beautiful round here. And today we're only going to take up a little bit of your time. We're just going to see the ruin of St Mary's. Well, it's St Mary's Chapel, but it's St Mary's Priory. And we're going to tell you a brief bit of history on it. You can probably guess, being a priory, what the end result would have been. Just give that a clue there. But let's just take a brief look at it. You ready? Come on. Well, everybody, welcome back to St Mary's Priory. So really, we're not going to do a history lesson, we're just going to sort of talk about it today and ignore the fact that Heathrow is very busy beyond us. And like I said, it's quite a strange sort of thing to sort of behold, the fact that you're right over a main terminal. And yeah, it's so tranquil and peaceful around here, except for like mini noises of the road, for example. Anyway, we're here to talk about St Mary's Priory. And the history of it first started when it was founded in around 1160. And originally, Priory would have had a maximum capacity of around 10 nuns. And what was also interesting to note within that was always the fact that with priories or monasteries, for example, they had to be self-sufficient. So, for example, we have the River Thames, which is literally around where we're at. And the idea was that within that you could obviously have a source of water and also a source of fishing. And it was noted, especially in this place, that obviously fish was actually a primary source of food around here as well. So again, it had to be self-sufficient. I think we always have to remind ourselves when we see these priories and monasteries, because of how secluded they are, they still have to have a steady source of water and food. As time went on, as you can imagine, the priory got larger and incorporated more into it, and obviously became even more self-sufficient. And then, as was common with most, it really sort of saw its end really as it carried on, seeing different phases, as we sort of see, through the dissolution of the monasteries. And this was around, eventually it closed in 1536. And then what happened was that in 1551, Edward VI gave it to his Secretary of State, who was Sir Thomas Smith at the time. And then what happened was a complete rebuild, really. What happened was he turned it into his own Tudor mansion efficiently. And it was built with brick and stone. And what they've done was they basically demolished part of the priory to actually incorporate it into being a bigger mansion. It's hard to believe now, because where we're situated, you wouldn't believe that actually at one point this actually would be in a very luxurious place. But what you did see probably in the intro was we're walking down the avenue of trees, which is actually the original walkway that would have been situated here. And we'll have a look at it briefly. But the yew tree is also here, which we've got to take a look at. We actually walked past it. And then what happened was that during Edward's short reign of 6 years, Sir Thomas changed the culture of the nation, and he said that he used money raised by closing monasteries to create hundreds of grammar schools in the king's name. So it's a nice bit of added history. This gave many more boys access to education, and he also helped publish the Book of Common Prayer in English instead of Latin, used by the Catholic Church. So churchgoers could understand the words spoken in services. And what that also gave was a sense that common folk, as we would refer to them, then all of a sudden, we know in history, I'm not going to sort of bore you on this, but I really find this fascinating, all of a sudden common people could read without having it being transcribed into Latin, which gave more people access to the Bible and religion in that sense as well. So you've got to imagine, like before this, the Bible was just written in Latin, and then it literally over this changeover incorporated a huge change in sort of like how class divide sort of almost became a thing, where the poorer classes could read or understand the same book and knowledge that people with money could, who were in education. Anyway, what a fascinating story. We're going to take a look at the small corner of the ruin. Not really much here, and then we're going to take a corner. We're going to have to take a look at the yew tree as well. So let's go do it. Come on. Liberty, welcome back. So we're just going to take a brief look at this tiny little ruin that's here. It's worth coming here because, let's be honest, it just provides something, and I really thoroughly recommend you've got to come down there anyway for the amount of local history that is incorporated in here. It's beautiful, isn't it, Sophie?
It is. Yes.
Lovely. Sophie went to a grammar school, and we were just talking about that. And actually, Sophie, you learnt Latin.
Studied Latin, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't remember any of it, but yeah, studied Latin.
See? Beautiful, beautiful little ruin. Like I said before, it was obviously part of it was rebuilt to incorporate into the mansion. Nothing there. Did sort of say this wasn't going to be the biggest video ever, but I still think it's important to document it because fundamentally this is a corner section. We know that basically everything else, the mansion, well actually the priory to begin with would have gone across that way and then outwards, and we know then obviously when Thomas was building the mansion it was an extension, and you've got to understand that actually with Heathrow in the background, we're in Surrey, which means we're really not that far away from London anyway, and obviously next to the River Thames. So it just really highlights a lot of that sort of like, even though we're in this beautiful rural place, we're really not that far from London, and obviously Heathrow as well. And there's Sophie to put it into context. Do you like it? Let's be honest, it's a ruin, it's a corner of a ruin. I think we can sort of safely say that we're not going to win any prizes today for the most interesting video on Phoenix history, debatable, but actually it's a beautiful walk down there.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And the moment you come off the motorway,
oh, it's like
night and day.
It's like you're in a little village. It's really weird.
Yeah.
So in fact you're right under, say, one of the busiest terminals, airport terminals in the UK.
Yeah. Let's just go up and top. Obviously somebody's left a poo bag there for dogs, because obviously why would you just not take it with you? Yeah, wonderful. We're going to take a look at the yew tree, which is sort of facing us as a final thing, and then we are pretty much done, everybody. Small video, but definitely worth one. Really, like I said, if you ever want to go for a walk and just explore, you can keep walking. Obviously there's a full circle National Trust, and that does incorporate the Magna Carta in there as well, like a memorial type of thing as well. We're going to do some more exploring as we're filming this today as well, so we really haven't got time to do that. But yeah, well worth a full scale walk round here, and obviously if you're a National Trust member as well, you can park up. So shall we just take a look? There's the sound of the airplanes. Yeah,
big one, isn't it?
Should we take a look at the yew tree?
Yes.
Come on. Hello everybody, welcome back. We're at the Ankerwycke now, we're opposite it. There's a couple of people in there at the moment have a meditative experience. So I won't disturb. What do you think?
It's a tree.
It's a tree.
It's a very old tree.
Yeah, it's a very old tree. I mean, it's basically as much as we can sort of speculate on that really. Mm-hmm. You were saying that the tree is older than they reckoned.
Yeah. So when was it? Hang on, reading the thing. 1990s, they carbon dated it to 1160. But with yew trees, you can't tell how old they are because you can't. The insides can hollow out, so you can't count tree rings from the centre because it may not have a centre, and it can grow new shoots on the inside. So the sample they took could have potentially been newer than the rest of the tree.
I've got to say, National Trust, well done, by the way, for everything.
Thanks. Yeah.
Your signage is 10 out of 10, because you know I like to have a moan sometimes about stuff. They've also modernised it enough that, excuse me Sophie, you can QR code to actually have an audible. That's welcome to the modern generation, everybody. And it also tells us the legends of the Ankerwycke year. It says amongst the oldest living organisms in landscape, use are often associated with historic events. And when it talks about Magna Carta, which is just across from us, roughly, some writers suggested that King John met the rebel barons of the Magna Carta under this tree in 1215. And obviously we know from Kent how important that was in Rochester Castle's history. Another local story tells of how King Henry VIII secretly met his mistress and second wife Anne Boleyn under the Ankerwycke yew, which is interesting considering the dissolution of the monasteries. And then it says folklore in years. It says yew trees' longevity and revitalising qualities gave them significance in Celtic traditions. It's nothing I've not really sort of covered in stuff, I think, really. It says, as access to the Ankerwycke yew is now limited, if you wish to hang a clute, you are welcome to use the carved clute boards, which are basically these. But you see these a lot on spiritual sites, namely sort of, for example, probably Cauldron on Barrow. The idea is that really it's just a bit of... It's basically a... I'm trying to make this really easy for people. It's like it's like a wishing... People can use it in religious ways of prayers, but really the idea is that you get a bit of fabric that is personal to you. This is my interpretation of it always. And then you wrap it around the tree itself, and obviously it would answer your prayers or answer your wishes, for example. And obviously because it's sacred, the history behind that obviously gives it that sort of understanding that not only are you tied to nature, but you're tied to the law as well within that, and the beautiful sort of sacred nature of it. I'm doing really well today with my words, aren't I? That made sense, didn't it?
Yeah, you thesaurus of practice.
I did. So yeah, but obviously what's cool about this again is that that people have done it, which is really cool, and I like that. Obviously not on the yew itself, because they don't really want that to be any more damage than it needs to do, although I'm sure people probably have, you know. But yeah, okay, well, Sophie, talk some feelings, please.
I like a tree.
I like a tree, but in general, nice little walk down.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful cows.
Yeah, walk past cows and their calves.
Yeah.
They're really cute.
And we just want to make it very clear, the footage that we used was nowhere near them.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
We love our nature, as you well know, and we want to respect it as best as possible. So, yeah, the extended footage that you've seen, we weren't disturbing any of the animals. I think it's okay to say, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Well, look, in the immortal words of Phoenix history, is the herons are landing all by sight. It's beautiful to see. Thank you so much for coming along with us. Take care, everybody. We will, of course, see you all very soon. Feel free to check out Sophie's Instagram in the link below. Anything else you would like to say?
No,
well, apart from, because history matters.
Yeah.
Because history matters. Anything else? No. Well, then we'll see you all very soon. Take care. Good